Cocoa is finally here on the global version of Sword of Convallaria, so let's talk a little bit about how to properly build her and my skill recommendations with also some gear and engravings. As usual, hello the internet, welcome back to the Waifus, I am Sefhi. Today's topic, everyone's favorite, the Walk Queen. It's finally here. Let's talk a little bit about how to properly build her. We already talked yesterday about the basic trait and how she works, but I want to go more in depth about skill recommendations and also what gear is good for her. Really important before we go into the skill recommendations, leave a like, subscribe, and also her trait is because it's important to understand this. Her heals work based on her HP. This is why her own passive, which not only possesses block but also increases her own HP, is so good. Not only that, but she heals 2 allies if you have at least 3 stars, right? This will only be with 3 stars or more. And then she also provides, if you have a breakfast or bento, which we'll talk about this later, she will also give happiness, which is a really powerful buff, reducing energy consumption and increasing your cooldown reduction as well. Not only that, but she dispels a lot of buffs. You can be proccing both breakfast and the bento as well. So that's it. Really strong passive. You do not need 5 stars, and we've talked about this already, but of course she will work better at 5 stars, since at 5 stars this happiness is 100% guaranteed, while anywhere else, so 4 to 1 stars, it's a 30% chance instead. That's it. Okay, that's her trait. What about the skills, Sefhi? What should I be leveling up and where is she good to be used? Okay, so let's go here. Like I was saying, it's important to remember her heals are based on HP, meaning every time you see a skill that gives HP, like for example Mountain Tribes right here, it's better to go this way most of the time. So in the case of rank 1, for example, you want to go with Mountain Tribes. There is a couple situations where the right skill is better, but let's wait for a second. So first of all, Mountain Drive. This is a passive that if you are unharmed will increase your movement by 1 tile. If you are also attacking from Highland or moving from one tile to another with a high difference of more than 2, increases your damage by 20%. This skill is good for the extra HP, not so much for the passive effects because you will not be using this long term. It's also important to consider that the right option right here, Crushing Bash, it's really good because this vulnerable 2, it's an increased damage taken by 20%. This is increased damage to bosses. 20% constantly. You can't keep this up 100% because it has a 3-turn cooldown and it will inflict vulnerable 2 for 3 turns. So for bosses, this is a better option. Now, as I was saying, I prefer the HP, and since I don't really care about bosses or I do most of the stuff on auto, I will be picking this skill, but it's also nice to consider this one. Now moving into rank 3, there is 2 options. You have your Potluck Protector and you have Cocoa's Treasure Chest. Cocoa's Treasure Chest provides HP and a lot of cool stuff, so this is the good option. But let's talk first about Potluck Protector. This is a skill that you could be using your Gastalias on, because when blocking, damage taken decreases by 15%. If the character is not dying, you will also perform assisting covers to all other allies within 2 tiles. Now, this is important when blocking. There is multiple skills that will make so you can have almost a 100% chance to block. So that is really good. You have already a base chance, as you can see, of 50% right here. And there is a couple of skills that we'll check in a second that will give you even more. So this is a really good skill, but I will use a Castalia here, not get this skill first. What I will get first is Cocoa's Treasure Chest. Not only because the increased HP, but also because this skill will give you 4 different skills. You are gonna be getting an instant heal for 25%, 5 times per battle. You're gonna be getting another heal for 45% that also restores energy 3 times per battle. You're also gonna be getting a massive dispel for all debuffs and also giving you damage 3, damage reduction 3, and immune to debuff for 3 turns that you can use 3 times per battle. And then probably the strongest skill here, Hallucinogenic Mushroom, which will 100% put the enemy to sleep with a 30% piercing damage for 1 turn, and also inflicting infection like a good bladder unit, also 3 times per battle. This skill is giving you 4 skills that you can use through the battle. The versatility this provides plus the increased HP makes this one of her best skills that you will be using constantly on almost any setup. That said, once again, you can consider also getting the Potluck Protector. depending what you're doing. So that's it. Let's move into rank 5, the reactions. And in here, we go into the same situation as previously. So this reaction, when hit by a range attack, the damage taken is decreased by 25%. This is pretty good if you are going to be pairing it with your passive for blocking, and with the rank 7 left side seed, this will make it that you have a 100% chance to block on range attacks. So if you plan on taking those two skills, the left side is better to take. Now, even if you don't plan on taking these two other skills, I would not recommend taking Stay Strong because it can only proc 2 times per battle. So as you can see, when you are hit by a single target attack, it will heal the lowest character and one other ally for 12% of the caster's HP. That's pretty good, but only twice per battle is not that useful. So let's move into rank 7. After picking the left side reaction, you have two options: block enhancement and leader's aura for bladders. This will give you 10% attack and 20% defense. It's not a bad aura. There are better auras for the bladders, and this 100% chance to block range attacks, it's really good. Not only that, but this once again gives you 3% increased HP. As you can see, every time that there is HP, this will contribute to a lot of not only her damage but also her heals, so it's important to be picking them up. I prefer this one since it provides a 100% chance to trigger block. Not only that, but you have 10% damage reduction here, plus another 25% damage reduction here, plus you have also your block, so another 15% damage reduction right here. Really powerful combination. So let's move into rank 9. This is your basic attacks. Now there is a recommendation, and you could be using a Castalia as well, but I think this is too situational because this is a single target attack that will have a 70% chance to stun the enemy if you do a back attack. But Cocoa most of the time will not be doing back attacks even if you reposition her, because it doesn't really make sense. So I would always go for the right side personally, which gives not only another 3% HP, but also physical defense down and magic defense 1 on the target lasting for 2 turns, meaning you can have a 100% uptime on these two skills. So it's really powerful. And then lastly, let's talk about her rank 11 skill before we move into the recommended gear and the engravings. There is two options here, but I would never pick invulnerable. So you gain damage reduction for Mind's Eye and immunity to disrupt for 3 turns. Mind's Eye is basically block after taking a back attack. This is situational, could be good, but the right side, which is Iron Pots 2, is too good not to pick it. So as you can see, this will heal all allies for 30% of her HP and grant them crit damage 2 and crit rate 2 for 2 turns, as well as a Bento, which will recover even more HP and dispel 2 debuff for 2 turns. This is really strong, and it's one of her strongest healing skills if we don't consider the passive ones, or of course this one right here with the Cocoa's treasure chest. So all in all, she's a really strong tank, will take a beating with how much HP she has, and will keep your team healthy and constant debuff skills as well. That said about her skills, Sefhi, what about the gear? What's good for her? Well, like we were talking yesterday, everything that has max HP is good for her. So when we talk about the weapon, the Brutal Axe is one of the best ones because it's another 3% increased HP, and also will ignore the 20% of the target's defense if your HP percentage is higher. Really powerful. Another option you could be using is the Hollow Axe. I personally not a big fan of this one for her, specifically for Cocoa, but it's a good option. And then lastly, you could also be going with the Tuning Hammer, which also will increase your physical attack and dispel 1 buff from the target before attacking. 3 good options. Again, you could be going for more stuff, but those 3 are personally the ones that I like. When it comes to the armors or to the gear, the best one to be using, once again, Crystal Burst Armor, because you have increased HP by 2% and strike backs deal 10% more damage. These strike backs do not really matter for Cocoa, you are using this for the HP itself. When it comes to other alternatives, we talked about this book already, but All the Scrolls of August is a book that can be used on almost any character and it will work. It's one of the best weapons in the game. Really powerful. Other alternatives, if you don't have any of these two, another one that's pretty universal is the Calling Powder, giving you immunity to hit and receive. And lastly, if you don't have any of these, Fancy Hat, giving you immunity to disrupt and also increases your magic defense, is a pretty strong option. Alright, what about Tarot, Sefhi? I never recommend Tarots because people will always get mad no matter what I recommend. It's too situational. There is like 4 options you could be using for the Tarots and it will work out of the box, alright? So in my opinion, put whatever you have available, what feels good for you. In my case, I'm most likely gonna be using the Mercy of the High Priestess since it increases the healing effect by 10%, and then I'm gonna be going or try to get some good HP percentages on the second and third row, right? So those are the good ones. So that's, in my opinion, the best one, but there are, again, multiple options you could be using. You could be going with the Elegance of the Empress, you could be going even with the Silent of the Hermit. There is multiple options to use here. So instead of the titles themselves, let's talk about the engravings, and for that, let's move into the global version of the game. Alright, lastly, let's talk a little bit about the engravings and what I would personally go for when it comes to Cocoa. In my opinion, the best one, of course, is going to be the Double Cup, since this will be providing you with healing increase by 10% and healing received by 10% as well, which for her as a tank, as a frontline, is really powerful. Now, some people are also going to be recommending the 1+ Cup. I personally, I'm not a big fan of this engraving because it's only a 50% chance to actually do this, and there is a cooldown of 4 turns, meaning this will only proc if it procs every 4 turns, right? At least every 4 turns, while the other engravings are guaranteed all the time. Same for Sword plus Cap. You could be getting your 15% life steal, and this works on any character that's actively doing damage. I still think the Double Cap is gonna be better in case of Cocoa, but you could be going for either. Now, all that said, alright, that's gonna be my recommendations for Cocoa. Banner is still not here. Probably when this video goes live, the banner should be here, if not in a few hours. All that said, we're gonna be pulling live later. If you're interested, come say hello, have a great time. That's it. That's gonna be it for this one. Love you all, bossos. Have a good day. Good luck with your pool dinner dates, and see you in the next one.
役立たずは楽園から追放するのみ。ブランとノワールのショータイムです。天地万物を切るとはこういうことだ。